Hi there, everybody. Hugh here back again. This is actually the second video I'm doing here tonight. And so really appreciate you all being here, all the recent subscribers. If you're enjoying this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to me. It's a free thing to do, and so I appreciate it. So I've been thinking about this kind of journey here for the last several days. So if you're here now, you're on a new journey with me. And so um, writing about my experience at Leavenworth Federal Prison there in 2009 to 2011. Um, I was thinking about it a little more deeply in a way. And so, you know, I've always had a bit of a defiant, rebellious spirit. And that's the kind of thing that makes a person want to take some chances on playing music, playing original music with a band, running around the country, doing that, and all. And that's what we were doing right before I went to prison. We did that for a number of years, and so that kind of wild spirit. And so I, tried to make. I will go into this more in the future as far as why I really went to prison, what the things that I did, and all. But took some chances and made some poor choices, and so wound up in there. And so even with being in there, you feel like there's this interest in crushing your spirit. You're crushing, you know, you into something, and a person that has no confidence in themselves and is must submit to just accepting that life is what it is, and um, not play around too much or something. And so this writing that I did is kind of my defiant spirit in that place. Instead of coming out and saying, "Oh, that was just stupid," and "Oh, what a waste of time," and I I wrote notes about the things that were going on with the idea that I could write something that other people would enjoy reading or hearing. In this case, where I'm talking to you, and I appreciate you. And 15 years later, this experience, I feel, based on the comments and the responses, that it entertains, and I'm really happy about that. That really uh, makes this all worthwhile, that I am able to entertain you with the things that I'm reading, because I feel that all art, whether it's songs, film, prose, any kind of books or novels or biographies or anything, if they cannot entertain, then they are not worth their their weight in whatever they are. They cannot go to those secondary places, which is to inform or educate or persuade or any kind of possible thing, if they cannot entertain. And so entertaining an audience and make them compelled by the material is first and foremost. And all the new subscribers lately, you make me feel like I'm doing that for you. And uh, if it was not this two-way street, I would not continue making these videos. So thank you for appreciating what's happening, and I hope I continue to entertain and potentially inform and educate, and the other things along the way. So let's continue with the entertainment that I'm very, very happy to present to you. So I labeled this piece Sick Comforts. And so this is back 2009, Leavenworth Federal Prison. I considered shaving and a proper haircut before my surrender, but stuff got in the way. The barber shop was in the basement, and even though haircuts were free, the barbers expected a tip, 8 or 10 stamps. Some guys got their hair cut and beards trimmed every week. I didn't. Prison is a bad place to get sick. Physicians' assistants stood place for doctors, and they encouraged inmates to buy painkillers from the commissary most of the time. The prison dentist yanked out all kinds of teeth troubles. I steered clear of both and saved the $2 fee. Toothaches got just as easy to ignore as the burning, itching problems on my feet that started right after I got out of the hole. There were inmates at the camp missing some of their limbs. You could count on one hand the guys with only one hand, and a few limped around on wooden legs. Meth lab explosions took some arms and eyes, but staph infections, diabetes, and bad luck accounted for most of the rest. When such ailments afflicted a prisoner, there weren't any second opinions. According to Noah, it was like going to hell on the installment plan. Less extreme than losing limbs was losing hair. Nearly everyone, young and old alike, seemed to have a bald spot on top or a rapidly receding hairline. Maybe it was genetics. It might have been from drug use or just too many years of wearing a hat. But many suspected the food and water at Lincolnwood. Mine was getting long and gray, but I didn't really know if it was turning loose or not. Gray hairs are hard to spot on white towels. They issued us laundry detergent once a month, and I washed my clothes once a week. The laundry room held 8 washers and dryers and got crowded at night. I threw my clothes in early before I went to work in the kitchen, or else in the afternoon while everybody else was gone. Next door was a TV room that showed Jerry Springer or the Discovery Channel, depending on who was in there. Noah told me that he saw more arguments and fights over the television than anything else while he was in prison. They always told me that TV can rot your brain. It can also get your throat cut. I watched the national news in the chow hall at night, if for no other reason than to see the free world hang by a thread. Worldwide catastrophes, rampant unemployment, a crippling recession, and housing foreclosures. All happening in a galaxy far, far away. We were detached and had entirely helpless. I apologize. We were detached and entirely helpless to improve or quicken the destruction. Another source of sick comfort. I spent time reading, later writing in the small library. The cramped room had a half-dozen tables and twice as many chairs, most of which found their way up to the mezzanine on the weekends where inmates could scream at the basketball games on the TVs. Most of the books were donated by local libraries and some from the prisoners' personal collections. The volumes varied and included bestsellers by the likes of John Grisham, Michael Crichton, and Stephen King. Some Zane Grey and Louis L'Amour westerns, also historical nonfiction, hardcovers as well as paperbacks, with the cracked white spines and brittle yellow pages. A few memoirs were written by former prisoners, white collars and killers alike. They were all pretty much the same, though. Quick rise to the top, long hard fall to the bottom, slow climb toward redemption. Once you read one, you'd pretty well read them all. Former Lincolnwood resident Wilbur Williams' manifesto, Furious Justice, was a bit different, and I snatched it up one day. A few volunteers attempted to keep some kind of order in the library, but it stayed mostly chaotic. Much like the dusty, old antique stores that sold broken down blenders, rusty bed frames, old picture frames, picture postcards, lamp posts, lava lamps, lava soap, soap dishes, mismatched dishes, matchbooks, bookends. Towers of precariously stacked LP records, the topmost crushing the grooves of those on the bottom. Books that smelled like mold and cat urine. I love to spend time in such places, among the garbage of strangers. Okay, so that's a passage I called Sick Comforts, and that. So thank you for uh, listening. A reminder that I replaced names in this, including my own name, the names of the people involved, as well as the name of the prison. I changed it from Leavenworth to Lincolnwood. And I changed it from located in Kansas to located in Wyoming. So I look forward to reading some more for you. Thank you for tuning in. Please consider subscribing, and I will talk to you all soon. Thank you.